Krishna, Krishna, Shivanamulinar Geet, Shigar Chandra Geet, Shigar Sumire Geet, Prabhupada Geet, Harinam Sankirtan Geet, Gaur Sharan Prabhupada Geet, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for being here, for joining on time. Thank you, Soham Prabhu. So nice to see you from India. There's so many devotees at Vishal Prabhu's place. There are 4 devotees there. So, okay. So I think we can get started. Gaur Sharan Prabhu is also here. So Gaur Sharan Prabhu, I just want to quickly introduce.
Oh, everybody knows.
Yeah, I think most of the devotees here know Gaur Sharan Prabhu, but I just want to mention a few things. Gaur Sharan Prabhu is a very senior disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and he's been a full-time monk or brahmachari since 2007. He has actually partaken in 3 of Radhanath Swami's favorite projects all across the world: ISKCON Chowpatty, Govardhan Eco Village, and now Bhakti Center. He was introduced to Krishna consciousness in 2002 while he was studying for his undergraduate degree in Chennai. And interestingly, which many of us don't know, he was working for one of the best companies in India called Infosys for a couple of years before he joined full time. And he's so humble. And currently, his services include deity worship, cooking, and he also partakes in outreach activities at the Bhakti Center. So we're very fortunate to have His Grace Gaur Sharan Prabhu here with us today, who will be sharing some information on how to approach the new year and how to welcome the new year. Thank you, Gaur Sharan Prabhu, again for being here, for taking the time to be with all of us today. Very, very grateful, Prabhu. I know how busy you are, but very, very grateful that you made the time for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Marco. So kind of you. I feel I feel awkward. Okay, thank you for inviting. Seeing everyone in the call, I feel like, oh, what am I going to share here? So thank you all for being here. So happy to see every one of you. Thank you. So I'm also after a long time. Hare Krishna. Probably it's an early morning, right, for you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Yadunat Prabhu is also here. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, they are having a gathering in Vishal Prabhu's place. Hare Krishna. Where is Radha? Hare Krishna. Nice. Hari Bol Radha. Nice to see you. So Prabhu had asked me to share something on related to New York, New Year. I'm sorry. So I thought like I'll share something related to vows, determination, and New Year because generally we make resolutions around this time. So I just thought I'll share something related to that. It's going to be short and nothing new. It's all every one of us know these things that I'm going to share. It's more of a reminder for myself and in a way that I can share with all of you. So let me just share my screen. I very honestly was thinking how to improve the quality of my spiritual life, especially living in New York. So I thought I can share something which my thoughts based on whatever I've heard so far. So then it can be relevant for others also. So the one topic which is one word which is like really uh, important I see in while living in New York is like just determination to keep the spiritual life of a certain standard, which is a challenge to keep it up. So especially when it comes to vows and determination and the struggle that we have in keeping up our vows, and also basically just being determined in anything that we want to do in life. So one of the main things that as ISKCON devotees, most of our aspiring for initiation, or most of us are like already taken initiation. So it's these initiation vows form a major part of our lives, almost defines our lives, and there is a struggle around that. So that's what I thought I'll take that aspect mainly. So we all know these words vows and resolutions. It's not a very certain dictionary or anything like that, but generally resolutions, we just make it whatever we are inspired to do. But these vows that we take, specifically those vows given by Srila Prabhupada as a standard for the society of devotees in ISKCON, these vows are actually taken from a higher authority. They're all given to us. We don't have a choice there what to follow and what not to follow. They are actually given and then we accept it. So it's quite different from just choosing ourselves, because taking it from someone has a different kind of an effect in our lives. And vows are not made by us, especially these vows that we take during initiation. And it's all accepted by a higher authority, specifically Srila Prabhupada, based on the scriptures. And we are accepting them outside from us. It's coming from another personality. So it may be we are like very well equipped to follow them, or we may be not so much equipped to follow them. Still, they act as a like powerful motivators because they are surely larger than ourselves. We can just do it on our own strength, and that's the secret in these vows. So the struggle and the determination and the vows, the whole secret is making us dependent on Krishna, and to get a taste of what it means to become dependent on Krishna, become uh, dependent on his mercy, and also praying to him for his mercy. So it's an integral part of this. It's an unknown. We think, oh, I am qualified and I take these vows, and I'm like, I feel when I was taking initiation, I was like, yeah, I've been like chanting 16 rounds for so many years. I've been following these principles for so many years, so it's just like, what's a big deal? But as years are going, I understand, yes, it's not just by my own determination I can just follow. Of course I have to put my determination, but apart from that, I also need the mercy of the Lord. So we become more and more humble the more we are trying to practice these things, especially the chanting of Hare Krishna. It's not going to happen just by our own determination. So, and the power of these vows are mainly because it's not just they are difficult, but they are mainly you can just forget them, because that is the kind of the power that the vows that we take from a spiritual master, from a higher authority, they define our lives. So wherever you go, whatever you do, they're going to be there in the forefront of your consciousness. You can just forget them fully. And we have seen it in lives of various devotees, even if there is an intermittent gap in following, still they can just completely forget those vows. So that's how these vows given by the authorities, taken from them and given by them, is like very powerful in our lives, because ultimately it makes us dependent on Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada's legacy is these vows that we are having, because it's in the 10th canto, when the demigods are praying to Krishna. So they chant this verse. I'm not reading the Sanskrit. The translation goes like this: how the Lord is considered to be like, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee. He is considered a desire tree. And how is he a desire tree? Because mainly the acharyas actually take shelter under the lotus feet, because the Lord is a desire tree and they are taken shelter under his lotus feet. So they also are Vancha Kalpataru, they are also desire trees. And because these acharyas actually leave behind a method by which they cross the material ocean, and that remains as a boat for all the future generation to cross the same material ocean. So they, by their activities, they show what is the what is the way in which one can cross the material ocean, and they leave behind that boat. They leave behind the method by which they cross, and because the Lord is merciful, he accepts that method as bona fide. So similarly here, Shil Prabhupada, he said, oh, chant 16 rounds, follow these principles, and I guarantee that you can actually go back to Godhead. It's like a tall order to claim that. Like how who can just say, okay, chant this many number of mantras, and I will make sure that the Lord will take you. So you need to have like a direct connection. So these vows, when we say 16 rounds, it should also remind us every day that this number itself is magical, and the magic is is the devotional ability of Srila Prabhupada, the caliber of a pure devotee. That, that just because I can follow this, if I can sincerely follow this, the Lord is even becoming like the Lord is accepting whatever the devotee is saying. So that we can see in our vows, specifically in ISKCON, that Srila Prabhupada formulated this, but he didn't just formulate it on his own. He had the connection with Krishna, and that's why this is a boat which can actually deliver us from this material ocean. So taking this opportunity and just this number, when we hear these four regulative principles and the 16 round, that itself can give us a feeling of how powerful great devotees are, or how just by taking shelter of them we can actually cross this material ocean. And as with everything in life, so keeping up these vows also need purpose and determination. And only when a purpose is coupled with determination we can have focus. And specifically, the type of focus we are aspiring in spiritual life is not just fear, not based out of just duty, or not based out of desire, but especially a determination powered by love is the best form of determination which can go on for a long time. So, similarly, when we are taking these vows in spiritual life, if it is powered by love for Srila Prabhupada, our own spiritual masters, and other devotees, then, and for the, of course, for the Supreme Lord, what to whatever degree we can actually be genuinely have some affection for them, so to that degree it becomes easy for keeping up this vows. And one of the most important aspects that I see personally in my life, which affects me in my ability to keep up any of my vows, is the association of the quality of the association of devotees I can have. And that's why personally I feel like first we need to have a genuine desire to be a devotee. And how do you even, like, sometimes I feel like I don't have that, where do I get it? So that genuine desire also comes from the association of serious devotees. So somehow or other, reaching out to devotees who can be actually who can give us the proper aspirations in life and the strength to keep up these vows by their own personal life, by their own personal example. So we have to reach out to them. It's like we hang on to them, we somehow or other take their support. And And of course, ultimately, after having all the association, it's our life. Only we can surrender it to the Lord. Nobody can surrender our life on our behalf to the Supreme Lord. So we need to exercise our free will. So, however inspiring the association is, the life support, even though it is the life support for everyone, still we need to make that personal choice. And when we are happy and inspired in the association, then vows are naturally kept, and even the struggle becomes empowering. Because there generally we think, oh, I don't want any struggle in life. Actually, there will be no meaning to our surrender if there is no struggle. Because only when there is a struggle, there is an opportunity to actually surrender. So without inspiring association also, there is no struggle, because we will naturally surrender to our lower desires. So there needs a struggle, and there we need association. So when we have a proper association, when there is a struggle, we will surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, we will surrender to our lower nature. So in that way, it's very important that we have proper association, and we all should be thankful that Srila Prabhupada has created this society in a way to actually guard all of us from the lower, from our own lower nature, not just from others. Just first we have the everything inside, we need to actually protect ourselves from our own lower nature, and that's possible by interacting and associating with the devotees the higher nature, especially of the other devotees who have awakened those higher natures to a major extent. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity to share these thoughts, and I'm very glad that Gaur Kumar Prabhu is arranging this kind of uh, gatherings for all of us to share each other's thoughts and think about these things which actually matter for our lives. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gaur Sharan Prabhu, for such amazing words of enlightenment. Thank you. If anybody has any questions or comments, please, now is a good time. We have 5 more minutes. If anybody has any questions on what Gaur Sharan Prabhu
Yes,
shared.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Gail. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. You know, I was just so curious when you said that, um, you know, you were chanting 16 rounds so nicely, you know, even before you took initiation and so on. But then later on, you know, so, and you were thinking, you know, so what's the big deal? I can do this, you know. But later on, you realized that, yeah, actually, I'm dependent on the, you know, potency of my spiritual master or whoever to do that. So if you were doing it so nicely before, seemingly on your own, how did you come to that realization that you indeed did need or were dependent on, you know, the senior devotees?
Because I was an illusion earlier, thinking I'm just doing it on my own strength. So when the support system is not there, then you actually realize, oh, I wasn't doing it by my own strength. It's like, yeah, I was always part of a big association, so it's very easy. We don't realize how much nourishment we get from a big group of devotees who are all like just committed. And especially after you join ashram, so then everybody goes for morning program, so you get to go, everybody sits and chants, and then you look around, everybody is seriously chanting. Like, that's a great advantage that I would say all everything that I had in the past, I would just ascribe everything to the association. When I came to New York personally, that my in the first 3 months, my experience was like, yeah, all those images of my own strength was actually shattered initially. But I also feel on the one side now, it is anything that I do is also based on my personal inspiration. Like, I want to chant 16 rounds, so, and I know if I won't chant, what will happen. So then I'm like, I have to pull and push all the strength that I have, and then uh, like endeavor to chant that. And in this struggle, after a while, I understood, okay, I don't need to just do it on my own strength. I can now also I can gather some help from the devotees. So now I have a healthy dependency on the association, with a lot of appreciation for that contribution they are giving me. Earlier, I lived in a big association, and I thought, oh, I was taking all the strength from them, but I was thinking, oh, it's my strength that I'm chanting. What are these guys like? They're just with me. They also chant. I chant based on my own strength. But now, any strength that I borrow, any help I get from the association, I'm very grateful, because I know how much it is helpful for me. So I feel it's very healthy if we can be dependent, but be really grateful for what we are receiving from the association.
Yeah, so you had a lot of, I guess, fellow brahmacharis or whatever around you before, but now how are you taking that? How are you leaning on help since that those numbers are not there? How are you getting that strength?
I reach out to devotees in my personal time based on where they are, and however much time we both and have some quality conversations, and then read and hear about importance of chanting the holy name. And in that way, I would say, like, I try to compensate for not having a physical association of so many devotees.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
I hope I was honest enough, I guess.
Thank you so much, Gaur Sharan Prabhu, for your wonderful answer and wonderful words of wisdom. We have a couple more minutes. If anybody else has any questions, this is a wonderful opportunity to ask Gaur Sharan Prabhu. So please take this opportunity and ask him any question that you have. especially now that we are welcoming a new year?
I just have a comment that I really liked the the sequence that you put together, that PowerPoint or the document. First, we talk about the rules and regulations, and then our determination, and then leading to our commitment and so on. So it's a nice reinforcer, especially at this time when we are trying to enter into the new year with all the things that are going on around us. So it's a really good reminder. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
So I just have one quick question, Prabhu. So many of the people here are students. In fact, they have so many uh, like other desires and things that come to their mind. So how do they remain determined? I mean, it's for all of us, but how do they remain determined and focus on sadhana as an anchor in their lives? There's so many turbulences and so many things that can happen in their lives, but how do they hold on to sadhana as their anchor? Any tips on that?
Personally, means I also started my Krishna consciousness as a student, like when I was in the college and then later working. So all the while, I can honestly just turn back, look at my life and see it was all like who I stayed with and who I actually interacted with. That's what changed my life. So the more I saw people who were very committed and I lived with them, it just rubbed off me gradually. Oh, okay, here is a devotee who's like sincere. He also works like me. He also goes to college, and then still he gets up and chants. So it kind of is very inspiring. So I'm very happy. Like I'm all of these devotees, whoever is in the call today, I see all of them. They all stay together. They all like take association of each other. So the only difference I would say is I lived in an era when there was no social media, and today means fortunately unfortunately we have the extra element which is like almost a very influential thing in every one of our lives. So yeah, just take the association for like seriously, like, and also having honest conversations with someone, either a senior or a friend who can actually help, and look at your heart and see what is useful for Krishna consciousness and what is not useful and how to handle that. Taking help from the association in a proper way can only actually save us. Otherwise, in this age of social media, even a small kind of a wrong desire can actually take us very far. So just being like very cautious of that element in our in the current age is like, I feel, is like very crucial. So I would say association and be aware of social media. These two combinations can be